Morning students, welcome to the session 11. So previously we are discussing about the diesel power plant layout and the components of layout and working principles of all the components. Okay, so in the today's session we are discussing about a concepts of supercharging. Okay, so what is meant by a supercharging and how it is helpful to the increase the efficiency of a diesel power plant. Okay, so coming to the supercharging. Okay, so supercharging is what is the purpose of supercharging? Generally, supercharging is a concept of increasing the suction pressure. So this is the main important thing. So we need to increase the suction pressure. So what happens if the suction pressure is increases? If the suction pressure is increases, automatically it have a more chances to the fill with more quantity of air inside the cylinder. So here we are increasing the amount of air inside the cylinder. So if increasing the amount of air, so it causes to the proper combustion of a fuel. So it burns more amount of quantity of a fuel. So that's the reason we are using the supercharging concept. Okay. So in a supercharging concept, simply we can increase the suction pressure of a air. So due to the suction pressure increases, it gives a more amount of air inside the cylinder. Okay, so what are the advantages of a supercharging concept? So especially in using of a supercharging, we have two advantages majorly. One is the scavenging and second one is the knocking process. Okay, so what is meant by a scavenging? So scavenging is nothing but the suction process, where the suction process and exhaust process are going to a inclined at a particular position. For example, already do you know in a port mechanism? So in that, so if you see that when the suction of air takes place, so this is the suction process. The same time, the exhaust also going at the same position. So the combination of these two angles. Okay, so this time period is known as the scavenging period. So generally the scavenging causes to the most fuel wastage because the fresh air is entered into the cylinder, at the same time some amount of fresh air is lost due to the exhaust process. So it causes to the loss of a fuel, fresh fuel. But in this section, due to the supercharging, the scavenging is reduced because of a better air combustion process. Okay, so and it is also reduced to the exhaust positions. So automatically when the residual gases are reduced, so that means to the reduce the time of a exhaust gases. So automatically we are getting the better efficiency, okay, improved by the scavenging process. In a similar manner, knocking. So what is meant by knocking? So knocking means abnormal condition process, abnormal combustion process. So here the combustion takes place at different points improperly. So at that time it creates some sound. Okay. So what is the reason behind to happen a knocking? So the reason behind the knocking is it have improper combustion process and it raises the pressure unequally. Okay. So in this condition it is majorly due to the ignition delay period. So due to the supercharging process, the ignition delay period is reduced. So due to the lower ignition delay period, automatically the knocking strategy is reduced. So these are the main advantages of a supercharging process. So in a supercharging process, we have two major advantages. One is the scavenging process and one is the knocking reduction process. Okay. So in a scavenging process, it causes to the more combustion rate and reduce the exhaust emissions, and in a knocking process it reduces the delay time. Okay, so these are the best advantages of a supercharging process. And next to the supercharging process, so we are going to the fuel injection systems. So what is meant by a fuel injection system? So the fuel injection system is nothing but the amount of fuel is supplied to the cylinder in a proper way. So generally we can supply the fuel in two ways: air injection system and the mechanical injection system. in a mechanical injection system is the most of the cases we are adopting in a IC engines. So especially in a mechanical injection system, we have mainly three categories. What are the three categories here? One is the common rail injection system, second one is the individual pump injection system, and third one is the distributor system. So three systems are available. One is the common rail injection system, second one is the individual, third one is the distributor injection system. So simply see here in this diagram we can see the how the fuel is injected. Okay, so generally the fuel is injected by a fuel injector. So this is the fuel injector. So the injector contains a nozzle. Okay, so at that nozzle, so this is the nozzle point. So in this nozzle point we have a number of holes. So based on the number of holes also it is passes the fuel. Okay, and so like this we need to send it to the injection of a fuel. And for example 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So total here 6 injectors are there. Okay, so for the 6 injectors we are using a single supply system. Okay, so this type of systems generally increases the pressure of a system, pressure of a fuel. Okay, so coming to the first thing, common rail injection system. So what do you mean by a common rail injection system? In a common rail injection system, we are using the high pressure pumps. So what is the use of a high pressure pump? So the high pressure pumps. So here in this diagram you can see the high pressure pump. So this high pressure pump pressurizes the fuel supplied from the storage tank. So this fuel is supplied from the storage tank, and here we are using the high pressure pump. So that high pressure pump releases the atomized diesel, atomized content into the cylinder head. So this is the header, and these are the cylinder pressure liners. Okay, pressure injectors. So from that they are getting the high pressure. So generally, what is the use of a common rail injector? So it contains a high pressure pump which distributes the fuel to a common rail or header, which all the fuel is injected to a connected cylinders. So in a common rail system, the fuel injectors are operated mechanically. Okay, so already we discussed that. So these are the common rail process or individual process or distributor process or belong to a mechanical operated systems. So these are why we are adopting the CRDI mechanism. So CRDI, common rail direct injection system, generally we are using. Okay, so it gives to the high pressure. So the pressure around 600 bar or 1000 bar, 1800 bar. So up to a, based on the pressure of a pump. Okay, based on the pressure. For example, if you consider a normal single cylinder CRDI engine, it contains a 600 to 800 of a pressure of bar. Or if you connect it to a more number of cylinders, it causes to increase the pressure. Okay, so what happens if the pressure increases? If the pressure increases, automatically the atomization capacity is increases. Okay, so that's the good reason here. And next one is the individual injector system. So it's a simple thing. In a high pressure in a common rail injection system, we are using the high pressure pump. Okay, fuel supplied to the high pressure pump. From that high pressure pump, the fuel is distributed into the engine cylinder in an atomized form. Here also same system, but the thing is, in a common rail system, we are using a single pump and we are injecting the oil into the different cylinders. Maybe if it is having a 2-cylinder, 3-cylinder, 4-cylinder or single cylinder, we can use a single system here. But in an individual, the name itself indicates the individual. Okay, so here we are using the low pressure pumps. So the low pressure pumps we are using, and we are connecting the pumps of each and every individual cylinder. Okay, each and every cylinder contains a individual pump, meters, and timing of a fuel injection system. So here the timing also very important here. So at what time we are injecting the fuel? Okay, so generally we know that in a compression ignition system we have mainly 4-stroke engines have 4 strokes. What are the 4 strokes? Suction, compression, expansion, exhaust. Okay, so when we need to inject the fuel, So the first process is the suction process, and second process is the compression process. Suction and the compression. So at a compression point, the that air what we are taking from the atmosphere, that is compressed. Automatically it increases the pressure and temperature. Okay. So at that point we need to inject the fuel here. So fuel injector. At that point we are using the fuel injector. So that after the compression, so every crank angle is generally 180 degrees. So 180 plus 180 total 360 degrees here. So that means in a theoretical way we need to inject the fuel at a 360 degrees centigrade. Sorry, 360 degrees. But in actual practice we need to inject the fuel before the top dead center. So before the end of a compression stroke we can inject the fuel, because we are increasing the time period for the combustion process. Automatically proper combustion takes place. So generally for a diesel engines, the preferred injection timing is 23 degrees before top dead center. Injection timing also controlled by a fuel injector system. Okay, so these are controlled by injection systems. And next one is the distributor system. So in this distributor system we are using a high pressure pump, and the high pressure pump, what it is did by a high pressure pump? The high pressure pump distributes the fuel by using of a distributor. So here specifically we can design a one distributor. From that distributor point to the fuel is distributed to the different parts of the engine cylinders. Okay, and what are the consequences here? So generally here we need to inject the fuel based on the timing requirement, based on the where the fuel is required, how much amount of fuel we are injecting. Okay, so injection timing is important, and metering also important. How much fuel we are entering, at what pressure rate, at how much amount of pressure we are using for the giving a distribution process. Okay, so everything is counted in a distributed fuel injection system, also in a monitoring way. But the special thing is here we are using a distributor for equally distributing the fuel into the all the cylinders. Okay, so these are the main three types. Okay, common rail system, individual system, and the distributor system. Okay, and here what is the function of a fuel injection system? So up to now we are seeing the different types of a fuel injection system. So here I would like to explain summarize the points. What is the function of a fuel injection system? So the main aim of a fuel injection system is it is used to the filter of a fuel. Maybe it contains, the fuel contains any dust particles. So that dust particles or dirt is removed by a filters by using of a fuel injection system. Okay, so this is the first function. So remove the dirt particles from the fuel. And second thing is measurement of a correct quantity of the fuel. So how much amount of fuel is required for operate a engine? So generally we prefer different types of speeds. For example, if you want to run the engine at a 3000 rpm, if you need to supply some amount of quantity. If you want to run the engine at a 4500 rpm, if you need to increase the fuel quantity. So everything is monitored by using of a fuel injection system. Okay, so it measures the correct quantity of the fuel to be injected into the each cylinder. And third one, it ties to injection of a process in relation to the crankshaft revolutions. So as early we discussed that, so fuel is injected at a before the top dead center. Generally we prefer 23 degrees, and also it is directly connected to a crankshaft revolution. So for each stroke the crankshaft is revoluted around 180 degrees. So total one revolution is 360 degrees centigrade. Okay, 360 degrees here. But here we are injecting the fuel before the top dead center. So this is the top dead center, and this is the bottom dead center. Okay, top dead center and the bottom dead center. Okay, BDC, TDC and the BDC, sorry. And here we are injecting the fuel before the top dead center. So generally we prefer the angle is 23 degrees. Generally we prefer the 23 degrees before TDC we are injecting the fuel. Okay. So this is also very important here. Crankshaft revolutions. And also it regulates the fuel supply as of you know that fuel supply is very important here. Based on the, for example, if you consider a constant speed engine, that means a 1500 RPM of an engine, so we need to supply a fluctuating the fuel. For example, if you want to increase the load, automatically if you need to increase the fuel quantity because the speed is constant. Otherwise, if you increase the speed means automatically if you increase the fuel flow rate, okay, or otherwise if you increase the load means automatically the engine may be getting down, speed getting down. Okay, based on the condition, if you want to getting a continuous same RPM, we need to supply the fluctuating of a fuel. Okay, and the most important thing of a fuel injection system is the atomization process. So what is meant by atomization? So here the diesel in the form of liquid, so that is okay, so that we need to change it into the small particles. So that system is known as the atomization process. Okay, so the atomized of fuel under a high pressure for the better mixing of hot air leading to the efficient combustion process. So when the atomization takes place in a proper way, automatically it gives a better combustion process. How it gives a combustion process? So when you are atomized properly, okay, it distributes the atomized content throughout the cylinder equally. Okay, combustion chamber equally it's a distributed. Then we are getting the proper combustion. Okay, so these are the functioning of a injection system. 6 functionings, mainly we are focusing on a 6 functioning of a fuel injection systems. And where we are using these systems. So up to now we are discussing about diesel engine are we using for the generation of a electricity. Where we are using this type of diesel engine power plants, because already we are in a disadvantage. We are saying that it's a very costly process. Maintenance is costly, running cost is high. So all are high. Why we are implementing these diesel power plants? So specifically in some cases we are using the diesel power plants. So where we are using? So what is the field applications of a diesel power plant? So mainly we are using in 6 places. One is portable units which can be moved from one place to the another. So if you want to power at a particular time in a particular place, particular time and particular place, later we don't require any power at that point. So at that point we can run the mobile power generation units. Okay, so that mobile power generation means moving power generation units. And the second condition is emergency standby units. Emergency standby units means, for example, if you are in our college, we require a power supply continuously, but some unavoidable disturbances or some unavoidable reasons we are loss of a power. At that time, we need the electricity immediately for smooth operation of a laboratories. Okay, so at that time we can utilize in a emergency way. We can switch on the diesel power plants. Okay, and also peak load and standby units for hydroelectric power stations. So what do you mean by a peak load? So the peak load means it's a maximum amount of utilization, maximum amount of power utilization. That period is known as the peak load periods. So maybe generally in a day the peak times are morning 10 o'clock to afternoon 1 o'clock, and again the peak time is evening 7 o'clock to evening 9 or 10 o'clock. Why? Because at that time, at a specific time up to morning 9 or 10 o'clock, all the offices are closed position, and suddenly we are switch on the ACs and all the electrical equipments in the offices. So at that time the sudden impact on a load, Okay, so at that time we can utilize the standby unit as a, because the capacity of hydro, for example, of a hydroelectric power plant capacity is 100 megawatts. So 100 megawatts, but we required at a morning time around 120 megawatts. So that means we required additional 20 megawatts of a power. So 20 megawatts of power we required only 1 or 2 hours. At that time we can utilize a standby unit as a diesel power plant. It is also using for a auxiliary system starting of a steam power plant. So for a starting of a steam power plant also we can utilize as a initial startup moment of a system as a diesel power plant. Auxiliary for starting the steam power plant, and small supply units for a public and industrial purposes. Okay, so whenever you want a small amount of power, so at that case maybe we don't have a sufficient power lines, so at that system we can adopt the diesel power plants. Okay, and the last condition, so standby units for the nuclear power stations also. So as because the installation costs are very high for a steam power plant or hydroelectric power plant or nuclear power plant. So the installation cost is very high. So that's why we are fixing the steam power plant or the nuclear power plant up to some point. After that we can after that if you want any additional power, maybe 5 megawatt or 10 megawatt in a certain regions or certain timings. So at that time, at that cases we are using a standby unit as a diesel power plants. Okay, so these are the field applications of a diesel power. Today class we have discussed. So the first one is a supercharging concept. So what it means by supercharging? So supercharging is nothing but increasing the suction pressure. Increasing the suction pressure. So what's the reason to increase the suction pressure? So when we are increasing the suction pressure, automatically it have a more chances to the fill high amount of air into the cylinder. High amount of air filling inside the cylinder. High amount of air filling into the cylinder. So this gives a better combustion process. Better combustion process. Okay. So how it is helpful in a diesel power plant? The supercharging concept is advantage in 2 ways. One is it reduces the scavenging process. Scavenging. And the second case is knocking. It reduces the knocking also. So what is meant by scavenging? So scavenging means where the suction process and the exhaust process are at coincide at a particular position, that is known as the scavenging position. Okay, so the scavenging is reduced by using a supercharging, because due to the scavenging process it reduces the exhaust emissions. It reduces the exhaust. Okay, so that's the reason scavenging is less. And how it helpful to the knocking process? So knocking is generally happen to the improper combustion. So the improper combustion is normalized by a increasing of delay period. Okay, so we are increasing the supercharging, we are including the supercharging process, automatically the delay time is reduces. Delay time is reduces. It is also helpful in a supercharging method. And today class we are discussing next point, we are discussing about the fuel injection systems. So what are the different types of injection systems? So mainly we are discussed about 3 types of fuel injection systems. Fuel injection systems. So what are the 3 types? One is common rail. Common rail injection system. So generally simply it is known as CRDI. Okay. And next one is the individual injection system. Individual injection system. And third one is the distributed injection system. Distributor injection system. In a common rail injection system, we are using the high pressure pump. High pressure pump. In an individual system, we are using the low pressure pumps. For each and every cylinder, we are connecting to with a one pump, low pressure. And in a distributor, we are using a high pressure pump, and that high pressure pump is connected to a distributor. From the distributor, that fuel is equally distributed to the all the cylinders. Okay, so these are the injection systems we are using, and the applications of a diesel power plant. So generally, diesel power plant we are using as a standby equipment. Okay, so additionally, when we are requiring more amount of power, at that cases only we are using the diesel power plant. Okay, thank you.